Hello, brothers and sisters of the church. Arthur and I are here in Rio de Janeiro, and we just wanted to share a brief encouraging word with you. Today's reading comes out of Luke chapter 9. This was from Brother Chuck's challenge for the church to read through the book of Luke for the month of December. And one of my favorite stories comes out of chapter 19, which is the story of Zacchaeus, just a small little man, or a wee little man, as the children's Bible school song says. Now that I have that back in your head, I want you to consider the humility which Zacchaeus operated under, to be willing to climb up into a tree, to humble himself, all because he wanted to see Jesus. You know, Arthur, that reminds me of a man that we witnessed to not too long ago. You remember that?
Yeah. Hello, brothers and sisters. And this story of Zacchaeus. Remember when me and Patrick goes for evangelism in another place, and us sitting a man stopped in the wall, hearing and watching us saying about Jesus, and he feeling maybe fear because having so much persons around of us, and in the end, us calling he accept Jesus finally.
And we took him through the "Are you a good person?"
What?
We took him through the "Are you a good person?" question.
Yes.
You remember that? And he had heard us share that with a number of other young people, but he still wanted to hear it all for himself, didn't he? And here was this big man. I'm going to try to put a picture in here of him. And he was willing to humble himself for the sake of the gospel. He wanted Christ, but he didn't know how to make that final step. And of all the people that we prayed with that they'd received Jesus, he seemed like he was the one that was the most sincere, didn't he?
Yes.
Now, we also want to ask for you to pray for a couple of young men from this past Sunday who Arthur was able to share the gospel with. Would you want to tell a little bit about them?
About the boys,
The
two boys.
The two boys from Sunday?
Yes, it's Sunday morning, no, afternoon. Us go is for evangelism. Go evangelism, called to church too. And I found the two boys. Us found the two boys, and his name is David and Peter. I do is the test about, oh, are you as a good person with them, and I calling I saying about Jesus, I explaining about Jesus for them, and the two they accept Jesus, and think is so good in the final pray. When us finish pray, I see the Peter, a little boy, crying because he accepts Jesus in your heart.
Yeah, you could tell that a big change had come over the youngest boy, couldn't you?
Yeah.
He just started crying just out of the middle of nowhere. And you know, we were able to give the gospel to these young boys, and they were so close to the church. Hopefully we'll see them in the church soon.
Yes.
But there's so many still who just have not heard and don't have the gospel presented to them. And yet there are those like Zacchaeus who are willing to humble themselves to come to the Lord, but we sometimes need to just make that final step in coming underneath the tree that they've climbed up into and say, "Come down, for I'm going to your house today." Well, brothers and sisters, I know a lot of you have prayed for Arthur, and we've seen a real answer to those prayers, and I just wanted to introduce him to you today. And we're just seeing a lot of advancement here, a lot of great things taking place, and preparing to celebrate the holidays here. But we're wearing short sleeves, so it's summertime. So, and Arthur's glad that it's not very cold weather, right?
Yeah. So hot.
Thank you so much for joining today, and we'll see you next week. God bless.